Ready?
All right. So, Haley, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Haley. I'm a dietetic student through the University of New England. So I'm doing some of my community hours with CSS. I am almost into my first year in the program, and then I have 1 year left after this. So halfway there, which is good.
That's awesome.
What about you?
So, I am currently a master's student at Simmons University, and I'm also a dietetic intern with Wellness Workdays. They're
Okay.
both based in Massachusetts, so also up there.
Nice.
But I'm all the way down in Kentucky, so I do everything remote or at facilities near me. So,
Okay. Gotcha. How long have you been living in Kentucky?
I've been born and raised here in Richmond, Kentucky. It's about 30 minutes from Lexington, where the University of Kentucky is. So very close to the popular towns, but mine's pretty small.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are you hoping to do with your degree when you finish?
I'm really hoping to be a clinical dietitian. So I finished my clinical rotation last year and it was amazing. I never thought I would want to work in a hospital, but I ended up making the best of friends there. And my dad actually works at the hospital as well. So I really want to work there after learning how much I loved it. So, yeah, what do you want to do with yours?
That's funny that you asked because I did not have a great clinical experience so far. I'm doing my hours at a different hospital next time around, so I'm hoping that I'll have a better experience. But I felt the same way. I was super intimidated to work in a hospital and came out of it, and I was like, I don't know if this is the right career field for me. But I actually was able to do some of my hours in sports nutrition, and so I'm hoping to work in sports when I finish.
That's awesome. Yeah, I looked into sports and honestly, eating disorders were my first thing
Yeah,
that I wanted to work with.
yeah.
I did a rotation at a clinic here in Richmond. We only have two clinics in all of Kentucky.
Okay.
One of them is actually here in my hometown, and I found out that's not what I want to do at all, which is that's the great thing about rotations and the
Yeah.
internship to actually find out what you like. So,
Yeah. I had a teacher say that in one of my first classes. She was like, you go into the program having like a very strong idea of what you want to do, what you want to work in, but she was like, you just like keep an open mind because she was the same. She was like, I was like steadfast that I wanted to work in eating disorders, and she ended up working on the clinical side and then eventually teaching. So you just never know where it's going to go.
you really don't. There's so many things you can do with nutrition too. So, it's awesome that there's a lot of stuff we can do.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. What kind of hobbies do you do when you're not working on your hours or working on school?
So, this summer I got to travel across the United States all around and visit national parks.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. So I just like being outdoors. I love working out as well. So I guess my favorite activities are probably hiking and camping and lifting weights and stuff like that. But I spend a lot of my time outdoors.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you drive around? Like, were you in an RV? Were you in a car? How did you do that?
So I've got like a Jeep SUV. It's not a Wrangler, but it's like I think it's called a Compass, if I
Okay.
remember right. I just got it recently. But we had a wedding in Arizona because my husband's brother was getting married.
Okay.
So we drove from Kentucky up to the Badlands and then to Yellowstone. So
Okay.
we spent a couple of nights at Badlands. We spent about a week in Yellowstone. And then we went down to Zion and Bryce Canyon National Parks and spent a couple of days there. And then we had a week in Arizona where the wedding was, and we went to Petrified Forest.
Okay.
And then on our way back, we just kind of trucked through the whole night because there wasn't much to see throughout the night.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun.
That's awesome. I feel like a lot of people that live in the United States don't get to do that in their
Yeah.
lifetime. So that's awesome. What was the coolest thing that you saw?
I really like the wildlife in Yellowstone. So I don't see a lot of bears here in Kentucky. So whenever there's a bear sighting near us, it like makes the news.
Okay.
But out there, they were everywhere. Like we saw bears, we saw bison, we saw all kinds of crazy, and they're huge. I mean, I didn't realize how big these things actually were.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, what do
Yeah.
you like to do in your free time?
I also like to be outside. I was living in California up until I started the program last July. And so I feel like the lifestyle out there is you're just outside a lot. You have the beaches, you have the mountains, the weather is so good. So yeah, I love just being by the water. And then I recently moved to Charlotte, which is not near the water, and the weather there is, it gets kind of cold in the winter and warm. It's been very hot in the summer, but I like to go outside and run or walk. When I was in California, I did a lot more hiking than I do here, but this summer I've been with my family. We go up to Maine every year, so being by the beach was really nice after I haven't been close to the water for a few years. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
being
The beach
outside.
is a great place to relax. I love the
Yeah.
beach. So
It's like it like resets you so much, and I just feel like I can really relax there. So that's been really nice.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm in New Hampshire right now, which usually the summers here are beautiful, but it's been unbearably hot, so I haven't been able to be outside as much as normal.
Yeah. We had a heat index here the past couple of days because the heat, I guess not the wind chill, but heat index, I don't know, but it was like 105, 110.
It's
And they were telling everyone to stay inside and
Yeah.
it was miserable outside.
Yeah. Which it's such a tease because when you look out the window, it looks beautiful out. And then
Oh
you
yeah.
step outside and you're like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's super humid here in Kentucky too. I don't know how it is there, but it it makes you feel so sticky when you go
Yeah.
outside and I hate it.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. Not a good feeling at all. Last question for you. What's your favorite food?
I am not a very picky person, but okay, so my favorite foods change a lot.
Okay.
Right now I'm really loving watermelon because it's in season. I love Chick-fil-A, I just love spicy chicken sandwich from there.
Yeah.
And Mexican food. You can't go wrong with anything that's Mexican food. So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
what are your favorite foods?
Yeah, I would say in the summer, one of my favorite foods is ice cream. Like I always crave that in the summer. I mean, year round really, but definitely in the summer. And then I would say on the healthier side, I also feel like my body craves like more fruit, more cooling foods, and like raw vegetables. Well, my
Oh,
mom
yes.
is cooking some cooked vegetables, and I'm like, I don't know if it's because it's so hot outside or what, but like raw cut up peppers and carrots and making a fresh salad that has definitely been hitting the spot. So
Those
which
are really good.
balances out the ice cream.
For sure. Yeah. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh, anything like chocolate with
I do
like
love
mix-ins
chocolate.
in it. Yeah,
I
yeah,
recently, while we were driving, we stopped at like little local places, and one of them was an ice cream shop.
yeah.
And it was in St. George, Utah. So it's kind of near the Arizona Utah border.
Okay.
And they had one that was called Graham, like graham cracker slam, and it was so good. It had like graham cracker crumbs and caramelized nuts and all kinds. Oh, it was so good.
Any like graham cracker flavored ice cream, that's like always my go-to.
Yes, it's so good. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but it was amazing.
That sounds very good. I feel like the local ice cream places are always the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to introduce yourself.
Yeah, you too.